Yeah, we might try it now while we're doing upper back stuff. So when you're coming up into the back bend, often what happens is we lift up and we drag our head up. So it kind of looks like this. And then we come down and it's like, right? Something that she taught, and this is sort of about abdominal strength in the posture, is actually, and it feels weird, but it definitely feels stronger because we connect to doing this. So you might not necessarily think, but we actually, and we might move to this now, is we need abdominal strength for our back bend, which seems like the opposite, right? That seems the opposite of a back bend, and it is, but we need to try and foster this to go up. And how that looks is when we're coming up, we lift our head and keep our chin on our chest for as long as possible. So here my abs are engaged. Then let it go. Then when we come down, lift, come down.
So tucking the head to come down.
Yeah.
So you're crunching your abs on the way down on the front?
Yeah, I'm not really thinking of an ab crunch, but just by lifting my head to my chest, the abdominals are going to engage.
So I think that's the weak part of my back bend is that
your abdominals? Yeah.
When I do this prep, this one here,
yeah, it's hard.
3 or 4.
Yes.
I find that my back bend's a lot easier.
Great. So that's probably your bit. Yeah. Everyone's got their bit of the back bend they need to focus on. So maybe try that. Go up so your head stays on your chest for as long as you can and see what it does. Chin to chest until you're all the way up. It feels scary because you're not looking. So Lucy, keep your chin on your chest for even longer till you're, when you're up there, keep it on your chest till you're all the way up and then let your head go. It's tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been tucking my head coming down because I realised that I was
Coming onto your...
I don't want to put weight on my head or my neck.
That's why I like this method too, because you don't put any pressure through the neck. Yeah.
When you're up though, is your neck relaxed?
Yeah, so chin to chest the whole way up, then let it go. Right, come down. I'm going to show you what I mean because you're letting it go too early, even though, yeah, no, it doesn't feel like it, but yeah, so ready? I'm going to show you. So what, if everyone wants to watch Lucy, I'll show you what I mean. So then let it go.
Oh, that's so much easier. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that feels so much
Do you see what I
better.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then to come down.
It kind of makes the body feel lighter.
Yeah, good. Did you see how you kept it up there for longer? Did you see what I mean? Try to get on your own. You couldn't hold it up there longer. Yeah, that's what I meant. You don't think you can, but you actually can. Did anyone try that and it felt better? Yes? Yeah, and then let it go. Ah. Solution.
Because everything's in line then, so it's easier.
And what it does, it makes you lift your head and or your pelvis and your heart at the same. They're coming up at the same, as opposed to. It's a heavy weight. Your head is 10% of your body weight. So when you lift your head before you come up, you've kind of lifted 10% of your body weight already. It's out of the picture, so you feel lighter, right? And that's what Lucy said, she felt lighter. All right, it's a tricky move, but it can make a difference. So let's try something else while we're on that part. We're going to do some abdominal. There's plenty of abdominal things you can do, but I kind of discovered this by accident with my back bends. One day I was just, I don't know, thinking about life or whatever as I was doing it, and I was here and I thought, all right, I'll do a back bend, and I just really slowly brought my legs down. I went, oh, I can really feel my abdominals working when I do that. So I started to play around with it. So what I often do, and there's plenty of things you can do, but just on the floor, knees together, and we just do some little taps. But, you know, we're not doing quick ones. We're doing really intentional ones. So we've got to flatten the back into, it's a bit Pilates, flatten the back into the mat, and then very slowly bringing one down. We just tap the toe, but really feel the abdominals switching on and then bring it back up. If you do it slowly, and well, you can really feel the abdominals working one at a time. And do a few of those.
We're trying to press it back into the
Yeah, the lower back. Not so much that it hurts your back, but just engaging. And, you know, in Pilates, they say imprint the spine. I want you to feel the abdominals activate. Is everyone feeling their abs working? Good. There might be a bit of shaking going on. Good. So come back down 1 second, then I'll show you the second part. So what we want to do, we activate those abdominals, right? We've done all that. And we can feel them working, right? And it's still engaged, still engaged, still engaged. Then what I want you to do a few of those to wake them up. Then you're going to try and keep that same sensation and slowly bring the feet down. This is where it usually goes. The feet start to come down and then we lose this and we lose this. So we're still trying to keep that feeling of that. It's like pulling in of everything here. The legs very slowly come down. We're almost sneaking up on our back bend. The feet come in, the hands, I'm sneaking in. No one knows I'm going to do a back bend because I'm staying here, staying here, staying here, staying here. And then just as my hands really lightly touch, I lift and come up. Let it go. Head, come down. See how that feels, but really feeling that activation of the abdominals as you're coming up. Okay, so try a few of those taps. You might have to do 3, you might have to do 20 to feel those abs work. And then try to keep that same sensation. Don't let it go and sneak your feet and your hands, and then very light touch of the hands and feet when you're ready, and then you come up using the head lift first. So this is a strengthening part of the back bend. So sneak, sneak, sneak. Feel the abdominals, chin to chest. Nice, Lucy. Good, Emma. Good, Charmaine. Look at that. Ooh. Yes, Nicole, that looked good. Anyone feel good with that? I found that quite amazing that by actually activating the abdominals, which is kind of the opposite movement of a back bend, it actually freed up my back bend to go back. Does that make sense? Like by activating here and by flexing the spine, it made the extension easier. I was like, wow. That looked good, Charmaine. Did that feel better? Yeah.
The shoulder stuff's up. I don't think I realised it. So maybe feeling it this week in my back.
Ah.
And then today with the shoulder stuff, I feel it.
Great. So you see how it's connected.
Yeah, because you compensate, don't you? It's like you were talking yesterday about sometimes when you try and get into, when we were doing that parallel double cross leg thing, you know, someone said, I feel it in my ankle. You said, oh, yeah, it's probably because you tighten the head. And so the point, your body just goes, oh, we'll just bend here.
It's going to go to the weakest point of your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're going to feel it in your ankles. So you think, oh, my ankle's buggered. It's not your ankle at all. It's the psoas or the shoulder or the wrists, right? And you feel it in your back.
Yeah. So when you back bend, if you tighten the shoulder, I suppose what happens is
the back takes over and bends further than it wants to and compensates. So you feel it in your back because the shoulders are just like too tight to feel it, right? Yeah. Anyone feel better after the abdominal stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good. Good. I kind of discovered that by accident, but that's a strengthening part of the back bend, right? And we have our psoas, the front of the like the hip flexor, and the psoas runs to the back. So one of my favorite ones to do is to come up onto one knee. Good, Alice.
keeping that neck tucked. Oh my God, it's doing my head.
It's weird.
The rest of the pose is just like going to shreds.
Because you're thinking about this.
All I'm thinking about is my neck tucked.
And I think about the head and the spine. If you imagine like a bowling ball and dental floss, right? And you know when you get dental floss and you stretch it, what happens? It just goes it loses its elasticity and it kind of just, if you've ever stretched dental floss, you know, the dental tape in particular, it sort of goes like, it loses all its elasticity and it's effed, right? So you imagine the spine being like that dental floss. If you're pulling it, the spine just goes and it loses all its elasticity and it doesn't work anymore. And the head is like as heavy as a bowling ball. You imagine hanging a bowling ball off some dental floss. What would that do to that dental floss? Not good. So you imagine your head hanging off that spine. When we lift our head onto the spine like that, it's taking that weight off that dental floss so it feels lighter, right? And it's not going to overstretch the spine, right? And the spine actually likes it when we feed the tail and the head together, like that feeding of the spine towards each other, than pulling it that way. It actually really likes it, which is why that abdominal crunch or those, you know, Pilates moves helps that spine kind of connect together. Because then the spine goes, I can actually open up, but not being tugged on the end. Does that make sense? You kind of feel it, right? So then we got our psoas, which is this big muscle that runs down into the inside of the pelvis and it runs through the spine all the way to the back. And we're just going to slowly come forward and then we're going to reach the opposite hand up. That's it. And you don't have to be really deep in it. I'd actually prefer you to be back more and tuck the tailbone under. You feel that more. And then we add a little side bend. So Alice, if you swap hands, that's it. Good. So opposite hand to leg. And then we're just going to do a little side bend. Good. So tailbone tucking under. And so this part is the hanging off the balustrade. Length. Same action. Little abdominal crunch here, you might feel as well. And also then you might, who's feeling that stretch in the front of their hip flexor as you tuck your tailbone under? All right, if you try doing the opposite and lift your tailbone, like do a little arch. No, nothing, right? If we do this, we're like, whoa, yes. It doesn't look as fancy, but, and then leaning over. Good, breathe and lift up out of that pinky finger. We'll say there one more. Yeah, you might have to pad your knee up. Feel all that space, rib cage, armpit, wrist. Good, and then come out. So good. Let's do the other side. So tailbone down. Feel that little abdominal activation. Good. These are all extracurricular activities that you might find you need to do when you're doing your backbend. Right, and slowly come up, come out. All right, try another back bend and see how that feels. That looked good, Alice. Did that feel better?
Yeah, I feel like I'm still dealing with that head drag when they come off.
Okay, that's all right.
Could be, my back's obviously very sticky as well.
Yeah,
So
it could just be it could just be that you think is, dragging up, but
yeah,
it looked good.
Yeah.
That looks good, Nicole. Yeah. Anyone feel like that was a big part of their puzzle? Yeah. Me too, definitely. Hip flexors. Oof. tight in there. And when you do anatomy of the psoas, it's really quite fascinating. The psoas is sometimes described as the seat of the soul. It's kind of cool. Let's try my favorite quad stretch. This takes a little bit of getting into, like there's plenty of ways you can stretch your quads. A point to remember is that hip flexor openness and strength can also help your lotus, and quad opening can